Adam. Okay, can everyone hear me? I don't usually use a microphone, so you'll have to let me know. Good? Cool. That's dangerous. Okay. Great. This works. Fantastic. So, thanks again for everyone being here, and thank you for inviting me back from last year. I gave another talk. I have, I guess, developed a reputation for a little bit heretical opinions on something, so hopefully we'll have some interesting comments and thoughts along the way. So with that in mind, if you are listening to the stuff that I'm saying and you like it, and you're on Twitter, just mention AA Drake, #hacker, if you like it, that's cool. If you don't like the stuff that I'm saying, you can just mention AA Drake, #thought leader, because that like nobody else will know what you really mean, like, but we'll know, right? So thought leader, if you don't like the idea. And I stole this idea from Josh Wills, by the way, so credit to him for that. I think it's brilliant. So the topic of the talk today is data science, business intelligence, to singularity. And the question was, are they two different things? Are they going to stay separate? Or are they going to merge? Right? That was kind of the question. It's a good question. So let me start by giving a little bit about my background and how I view the world, the lens through which I see these kind of problems. So I studied applied math a long time ago, and I've been working in technology roles for since the late 90s. So kind of a long time, I guess, depending on how old you are. And I've worked in a lot of different industries. So I worked in financial services for a while. I worked in healthcare, e-commerce, online marketing. So a variety of different industries. And I talk with a lot of companies. A lot of companies come to me asking different questions about data science departments and how can they set it up and how can they be more data driven and what about culture and things like Andreas was speaking about earlier. I get a lot of conversations with companies about this. So what I wanted to do is share a little bit of what I've seen recently and kind of how things have been developing in my perspective over the last years. So definitions are really important. A lot of times some of the problems that we talk about in business are just because people are using different definitions for what they think of the same thing. So let's start with that. What is data science? Who wants to take a stab at this one? I know somebody's feeling bold. Nobody's feeling bold? Is it because you don't know, or because like nobody really knows? That's like the main question, right? So I don't have an answer to this. I don't have a concrete answer, even though I've written job descriptions for hiring data science people. But the most concise definition I've seen for a data scientist is someone who's better at statistics than a software engineer and better at software engineering than a statistician. That's something that's quite solid. There's a funny one that says a data scientist is a data analyst who lives in California, which maybe that's true too. I don't know. But we'll go with the first one because I think it's pretty clear. So software engineering, statistics together, not perfect at either, but pretty good at both. This one, maybe someone wants to be bold. What's business? How do you define business intelligence? What is this? Can anybody tell me this? Okay. This is exactly why I'm giving this talk. Because if we can't even agree what the things are, then how do we know we're actually doing them? And when companies say they want them, how do they know what they actually want if no one is actually able to say what it is? So already we're making good progress. So for business intelligence, for the purpose of this talk, I'll lump together the stuff that we typically would think about before all the big data stuff came around some years ago. Reporting, databases, and star schemas, and data warehouses, and data marts, and all that great stuff. The things that a lot of you have probably seen over the years. Which leaves our next thing. What's a singularity? That's one version of a singularity. This is the Ray Kurzweil, machines get super intelligent more than humans, and then we become like human-machine hybrids and stuff. That's all well and good. I don't mean that one. That's just an aside, just for clarification. I mean this kind of singularity. So like black holes, like a black hole singularity. And if you can see it, this is a really cool nebula. This is like Tulip Nebula, this is called. Very pretty. Down here, there's a tiny star, and around that star is a black hole. It's not a huge one. It's about 15, 20 times maybe, I think, the size of the sun, but in the space not much bigger than Singapore. So it's very dense, right, which is the idea. And what's happening is, as it's orbiting around this star, it's kind of like sucking the star closer, and it's peeling stuff off of the star. And it's an interesting dynamic. And you asked the question perfectly. Which one's which? Are they separate? Is one getting sucked into the other one? Are they merging? Are they staying separate? Good question. It really is. It really is. And I've seen this go different ways in different companies. And it usually is something like this. The company is unhappy with the current data offering, whether that's the platform or the infrastructure or the reporting or the quality or whatever, but they're just not happy. It's not good enough, it's not helping the business, it's not easy to use. You can pick all the things that are common challenges. So then they say, well, the current people or the current technology is not good enough. So we need new stuff, we need new ideas, we need new capabilities, we need new people who can think about these problems in different ways. And you see this reflected in the questions, some of the questions we've seen today. How do we set up a group of people that can deal with big data problems? I'm going to hang out with you guys for a little bit because you didn't get very much love today. So how do we deal with these kind of things? So the company's like asking themselves these questions because they don't know what to do. Because they don't know what they want because they couldn't even define what's data science, right? So they're still working on it. So they hired this data science person or team or whatever to come in and start to address these problems, which is a great step, right? They're taking some action, they're making some progress. But then these people get there and they realize there's a lot of groundwork to do. The data quality may not be that great. The database architecture, databases, depending on your company, may not support the kind of analysis they want to do. So there's a lot of foundation work. Has anyone ever been in this situation? Because I have, I'll be open about it. Oh, really? So I'm speaking to your heart, right? Thumbs up? Okay. How did you feel when this happened to you?
For my case, what I did was I went to propose the correct foundations, building the correct foundations, and actually full support from this happening to me here.
But in the beginning, did you feel like that?
You go close.
You were a sad panda, weren't you? You were, because you had high hopes, right? You had high hopes. And then you came in and you wanted to do all this cool data science stuff, right? And you were like, man, this database sucks. I can't do anything with this. I have to fix this data infrastructure. And you felt like that, right? What did you do? Like, were you able to fix it? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
This guy, I'm a head of design engineering.
Which one? Okay, everybody clap for that guy. Good job. Cool. So you got lucky. So if anyone else has been through this before, maybe you have, maybe you're still scarred from it. That's okay. It's not cool. It's not cool. And what happens is you get data science people or people who are hired to do data science stuff with the expectation of doing data science stuff, and they arrive and they realize, I need to do engineering stuff. I need to do database administration stuff. I need to do data infrastructure stuff. I mean, we heard a couple times today about Kafka, Hadoop, these kind of technologies. Most data scientists 5 years ago were working on those kind of things. Because when you hired a data scientist, they did everything. They would do anything about data was a data science problem. This has changed over the last 5 years. At least I've seen it change. We've seen distinction between data science, data engineering. You've got DBAs and people doing BI stuff that are still around doing great work. So the question is, what do you do if you're in this situation? Because this is kind of what happens, right? This is a black hole that is pulling apart a star. It's like pulling it in. And the poor star is stuck, right? It's like, it's there now. What's it going to do? And in your case, you got lucky, right? Because you had this wonderful person supporting you. But it can be very frustrating, especially if you're a person that's coming in to lead a team to do data science stuff, and you can't do data science stuff because you have too much data engineering stuff to do. So it's a common story. It happens quite a bit. And the question is, what are the options? Like, what do you do if you're there? And let's assume that you don't have this awesome person sticking up for you, because not everyone's so lucky. So a lot of companies, when they get into this situation, they have limited options because the expectations are so high. I mean, the reason they brought this data science person or this data leader person in was to fix all the problems that weren't already fixed. So if you go back and say, yeah, well, I have to fix all these other problems first, I can't build a team, I know you want a recommender system, I know you want all this cool stuff with personalization and customer journey or whatever other cool things, you're laughing. Why are you laughing? It's not the first time I've seen it, so I'm sorry, but I'm glad that you, okay, cool. So, but this is what happens, and these gentlemen can attest how real it is, right? So if you don't believe me, talk to these guys during the break. So they know the real deal. So this is what happens. You go in, the expectations are huge, people don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. So, and this is the question that they ask, and it becomes quite a big problem. So option one, this is an option, right? You can hire more BI people to do more reports and more database stuff and things like this. A lot of people will dismiss this idea as being a bad idea. And we've heard quite a bit today about democratizing data, making it available to everyone, and that's a great aspiration. In some companies, they're not ready for that yet. They might be, but they're not yet. They have more pressing operational and business needs that they need to take care of. And if you start also loading on top of people, oh, by the way, you're going to be responsible for a lot of your own analytics, you will see a revolt. Like, it won't be bloody, but it'll be nasty. And politically, you probably won't win, because you're already having to tell people that the reason they brought you in, you can't do that yet. So it's tough. So this is an option, and it can be a good one. But be careful. If you're in a smaller company, this one usually works really well. Just hire a couple more BI people. And it doesn't sound amazing, and it's not like, oh, data science, and we're going to do all this stuff. But this is the important stuff to the business. If people can't get access to the data they need for reporting and stuff like that, this is going to be a big payoff for you. Another thing, self-service BI. This is the other option. Democratize the data. Give people access. Train them, educate them, help them be more productive as users of the data. This long-term is the way to go, for sure. So if you're a growing company, this is the way to go. If you have management support, so maybe if you're like those people over there and you got this strong, then this is good. This is a really good one, because as your company grows, and Andreas mentioned this earlier, as your company grows, you don't get a huge bottleneck of people who are making reports. I personally have seen companies that had a BI staff where it was a bottleneck, where there were hundreds, sometimes thousands, of reports and dashboards that were created almost as one-off projects for somebody somewhere, a business user that needed it for a month and then never touched it again, and it just built up and built up, and that can happen. It's a real thing. You're nodding. You've seen it too? It happens? Sad, right? But it happens. And then you got to clean it up, and it's really tough. So this is kind of the utopia. If you have to choose a path, and you're a rapidly growing business, and you can't just hire more BI people, this is the way to go. And culturally, you'll see better benefits from it. There's another example, option 3, data science people doing BI stuff. I listed this as an option in the interest of completeness. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Because what you'll end up with is probably some very frustrated, very unhappy, very specialized data science people that may have years and years of experience doing machine learning stuff and recommender systems, or maybe even industry experience. See, you're nodding too, it's real stuff. In e-commerce or whatever other specialized industry, and now they're doing dashboards. Good luck with your retention. Really, good luck. Plus, your costs for having a staff like that will be much higher than you need. And cost is something interesting that gets to the root of your question as a moderator. Which way is it going? What's with this singularity? What's happening? I think data science is shrinking, personally. And you could say I'm shooting myself in the foot by saying this, because I've been doing it for a long time, but that's what I see. People are starting to acknowledge that the bulk of the work in most companies is not data science work. It's data engineering work. It's infrastructure work. It's BI work. It's not people sitting around working on algorithms for some cool data product. That's part of it, but it's a small part. I think I was reading an article, or I saw something the other day, 95% of every data product is glue code, and 5% of it is machine learning stuff. And personally, that sounds about right to me. So out of the systems that I've worked on in the past, a very small percentage of them were actual machine learning, data science stuff. Everything else was software engineering, business intelligence, normal things. What does that mean for data science and data engineering specifically? It means that for companies who actually want to make a big difference, they shouldn't probably be hiring data scientists at all. They should be hiring engineers, or data engineers, as they're often now called, because that's where the big problems are. 5 years ago, maybe it made sense to hire data science people because you got someone who could set up your Hadoop cluster, talk to you about data quality, master data management, help you with your relational databases, and just do all kinds of data stuff, all the machine learning stuff. Now, that's not the case anymore. Engineers, software engineers, have picked up all of these things. They've learned, they've improved, they've adjusted their skill set, and the tooling has become better. Did anyone have to ever set up like a Hadoop cluster 5 years ago? No one wants to admit that they did it. It's easier now. It's easier now to set up this tooling. If you're going to set up a Kafka cluster, which has been mentioned a couple times today, you can literally download it and run it on your laptop if you want. It's not a big deal. Managing this in a large enterprise is a big deal. It takes a lot of work. You need a lot of extra stuff. So don't just do it for fun, because it's not fun. But it doesn't take the kind of work that it used to. So what this means is the combination of easier tooling and more skills from the software engineers has soaked up a lot of the work that data scientists were, in some sense, hired to do 5 years ago. So if you're still hiring with that in mind, you're off. You're off. So don't hire data scientists for that work. So these are kind of the three main points. And I think the first one is probably the hardest for people to do, but it's true. If you hire for the problems you have, for most companies, you probably will not hire someone with extensive big data experience because you probably don't have big data. Whatever that means for, I don't know, whatever, big stuff. It's probably not the main problem. And you probably won't hire data science people, or at least not very many of them, because the challenges that you have are probably not data science and machine learning challenges. They're probably challenges about your data infrastructure, or moving the data around, or ETL pipelines. ETL pipelines haven't gone away. That didn't disappear. Those challenges are still real. So if you want to hire a data science person and then you expect them to work on your ETL pipelines, you're right back to like option 3, very unhappy data science people. Another thing to keep in mind is that there are a lot of engineering people around now that know how to work on these problems. Data that maybe used to be considered big is now not such a big deal, in fact. So if you think you need a Hadoop cluster, there's a pretty good chance you don't. Does anyone know Stack Overflow here? Who knows Stack Overflow? Just these three? Ah, see how many hands? That's a lot of hands. How many people write code now or at some point in their career had to write code as their job? A lot of the same hands. Okay, cool. So Stack Overflow, huge site. I think they have like 40 million plus uniques a month. They generate tons of data. You know how many database servers they have to run Stack Overflow? 1. I'm not kidding. Look it up. 1. They just run 1. I mean, they have some for disaster recovery and stuff like that, but it's not. What about Reddit? Who knows Reddit? I saw some of you on Reddit here, because I was sitting in the back. Don't be shy. Okay, Reddit. You know how many database servers they have for the comment system? 1. They have 1 master database for the comments, and they have some read slaves. That's it. And they've got 230 million uniques. So standard database technology can handle this stuff. BI people and software engineers that have been doing this for years know how to run it. That's where your business is going to get a lot of the value. You might need some data science people on the side to help with the algorithms and the machine learning and so on, but that's probably not where your biggest benefit is going to come from. It's just not. Expectation management is huge. So for those of you who are on the job market, if you're talking to companies, before you start with the company, before you accept the job, be very open and start the expectation management at that point. Because once you get there, you've already implicitly agreed to do whatever they expect you to do when you were talking with them before. You're not going to dig yourself out of that hole once you get there, except for this guy. Okay, he's a special case. I don't know what happened there, but that's super important. And I mentioned this last year when I gave a talk at the event, and it's still something that I see in a lot of companies now. The expectations are really high. Companies are expecting you to come in as a data person, do all kinds of magic, raise profit by 50% month on month, every month for the next 50 quarters, and it just doesn't work. So be very vigilant about expectation management. Some of the best advice I ever got in my career was, if you don't control the narrative, someone else will control it for you, and it probably won't be positive. Probably won't be positive. So expectation management, big one. You have printed signs? Seriously? Did you print those? Wow, you're prepared.
Just following orders.
Oh, following orders. Okay. Well, the good news is I plan to finish early because I'm also moderating the panel, which starts directly after this, and we have to prep the panel people. So I will leave it at that. I'm happy to take your questions, if any, and thank you very much for your time.
So Adam will continue to be a moderator for the next session. So while we wait for the panel to come over here, is there any questions?
Go for the mics.
No questions, okay.
Oh, we have those chairs too. Those look pretty. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was joking. No. Where's the guy? Can I just leave this up here? Is that okay with you? All right. Everybody mic'd? Good? Mics work? Everybody on?
Yep.
Nicolai?
Online?
Yep. Set. Okay. So I'm still here. Now we're going to the panel discussion for the afternoon. The panel this afternoon